Hello, friends and adventurers. So today, 5 facilities that you may have never used in your campaigns yet. Some of them I am pretty certain of, but do tell me which ones you used and which ones you haven't. Because these are all interesting and valuable resources for your campaigns that make for great set pieces for your players to explore. I'm Em, and welcome to the DM table. So let's start with something simple that you might have used already, but certainly bears mentioning because it's kind of a central set piece for many classical Dungeons & Dragons and similar campaign, and that's Guildhall. And I don't mean a generic Guildhall, I do mean a class-related Guildhall for whatever your players have amongst their characters for their classes, like a Rogue's Guild, or a Temple of Fate for the Cleric, or a certain type of Coven, or something like that, where your player for their class can find similar minds and interests, quests thematic to their interests and their class and their abilities, where they can find perhaps friends from the same trade, where they can find rivals, perhaps hidden enemies, perhaps ambition, perhaps a story, perhaps climbing the ranks. And each of your players, depending on their class, may have their own type of gathering that they can attend to. And the campaign, it can be interesting for everyone because if parties working well together, they pick their quests so that they would be having interesting times together and good results, good returns, good rewards that are valuable for the whole party, that are not just ego of this one person wanting to do this one thing, but rather something that they can all get involved in together, yet with all their differences and quirks and uniqueness of their own kind of vocation and preference. So that's why I mentioned Guildhall, even in this list of facilities you might have not used, because it's important to look to it for that sort of inspiration. But now, at number 2, we have Hidden Shrine. Have you had this in your campaign where there is a ritual that your party can use to unlock, like a pocket dimensional location or secret place, secret passage, where they can go into this holy place of whatever their, choice of or circumstance of whatever has chosen them, I suppose. Not necessarily their fate, but, there's infinite possibilities. What is it that brought them to this secret place? What can they see there? And how much of utility is there that they can access it frequently, or not so frequently? Maybe at certain stages of the campaign, maybe at every corner, maybe they can use it to rest, maybe they only use it to pray for something, maybe they only use it for quest reasons, maybe they're reluctant to access it because it's actually intimidating for them to visit this place, maybe it requires payment, a sacrifice, maybe it doesn't require anything, maybe it's their little secret, maybe they love to use it as their shelter and hideaway. Maybe not. Any of these is valid for this secret shrine of theirs, or whatever they may have, even like a portable home that they can customize for themselves. But that's a more mundane version, perhaps, and yet I don't see this often, and it's a great source of mystique for your campaign, or activity for the players, or very many other things, really. So further at number 3, have you tried this? A flying fortress. It's kind of a combination of a siege engine and a mega dungeon, and yet it is a big, important location in itself in perhaps a war campaign or something else. Whether the players are riding on it or planning to conquer it, it always lends some, gravity, ironically, to the situation when you have a big flying fortress juggernaut, or just a hard to conquer castle in the sky, or something like that. It speaks of challenge by its very presence. It looms over, and it provides all kinds of opportunities. More so than just, it's hardly a just, but more so than a dungeon would, unless the dungeon has just as many possibilities, which it may, and so on and so forth. But yes, how about that Flying Fortress? Have you tried that one out for size? And whilst on the topic, at 4, a factory. It's a staple of video games and novels and many other things, but I rarely see people run this in their campaign where players are running through the opponent's factory of any certain kind. It could be part of the opponent's war machine, which is always interesting to see how the opposition is preparing their ammunition and their weapons and where they produce them and how it's protected. And it's sort of like a living piece of backstory that your players still need to conquer and disable and so on and so forth. Maybe rob, maybe take weapons for themselves, maybe just feel those weapons on their skin. Maybe it's just a very scenic place. That's why the games like it so much, that factory. But maybe it's a hospital. Like one of those creepy haunted ones, or maybe some that has so much plot and intrigue. I guess that's not a factory, but what about those other factories that could be anything, really? What about a secret complex that's underground, that's hidden away? I guess that's more of something that people do run, but it's still rare enough to mention and suggest. What about an alien, or, well, alien enough from a point of a civilization of today in comparison to an ancient civilization? What about an alien facility of some sorts that has been uncovered? What about that? That one is unique enough for almost any set of players to try to delve into. And indeed, to that theme, at number 5, what about a monolith? Maybe multiple monoliths. Do they dot the map? Are they important? Are they dungeons or are they not? But more importantly, what do they mean for the world? What do they change in the campaign? And do they easily provide one of those feelings of this being a weird and alien world to explore in the first place? And are they linked gateways? Are they providing accidentally or deliberately some public service? Are they of philosophical or religious significance to the people? What do they do? What do they imply? Maybe they're a very end game of the campaign sort of thing in some way. Maybe they were a mystery through the whole campaign. Maybe both. Maybe everything at the same time. So these monoliths, what are they? And have they been used in your campaign yet? I would like to know. So adventurers, players, DMs, if this was unique, maybe you can spare me a bit of a click and I could see you here next, perhaps even every week. And I would also love to hear your comments, see your questions, talk to you all, because talking together is wonderful and lovely and I would love to do so. Until the next time, bye.